My name is Ethan Gabriele, and this is how tectonics, hydrology, ecology, and chemistry help create and destroy coral reefs. So, why are coral reefs located where they are? When subduction at a convergent continental oceanic boundary occurs, the oceanic plate slides under the continental plate due to its high density and its thinness, and this creates a steep slope. Before this slope, which is the trench, is the shallow continental shelf. This shelf is going to be part of the continental crust, however it is still underwater, and this shelf is what harbors the majority of oceanic life. But why is this? Well, deep in the ocean is cold, lifeless, and nutrient-rich water due to the lack of sunlight and oxygen, as well as the abundance of decomposing organic matter. So when wind blows perpendicular to the shore, it's going to carry the water this way and create an empty space on the surface. This is going to have to be filled up by something, and what that's going to be is the water from the deep ocean, which again is nutrient-rich. This is what we call upwelling. Now, with sunlight and nutrient-rich water, the continental shelf can facilitate the growth of phytoplankton via photosynthesis, and with more phytoplankton around, polyps, which are coral, can grow and provide homes for larger organisms. This all stems from the fact that polyps get their energy from the glucose photosynthesized by the phytoplankton living in their tissue. Now, with ocean acidification, in the past few centuries, CO2 emissions have exponentially increased, and when CO2 dissolves into water, carbonic acid is created, which is this H2CO3. This carbonic acid eventually breaks down into one hydrogen ion and bicarbonate, which further breaks down into another hydrogen ion and carbonate. This is going to lead to dissolution, or the inability for carbonate to be calcified, which both stem from the fact that hydrogen is more attracted to carbonate than it is calcium. And so with dissolution, hydrogen ions removes carbonate from calcium carbonate, which again is coral, and with the inability for carbonate to be calcified, the presence of hydrogen ions make it harder for carbonate to calcify into coral. So essentially it either dissolves or entirely stops the process from happening. And then with the coral skeletons being either dissolved or not even created, polyps, phytoplankton, and fish have no home, thus destroying the ecosystem. And with coral bleaching, with the increased CO2 emissions that I just mentioned, the atmosphere also gets hotter, and with a hotter atmosphere, water on the continental shelf can sometimes not be fully cooled by upwelling. From this heat, phytoplankton living in a polyp's tissue produce a toxin that is lethal to the polyps as well as themselves. This forces the polyps to expel the colorful phytoplankton from their body, hence the name coral bleaching. Now, with no access to an energy source, the polyps will die, and with self-inflicting toxins, the phytoplankton will die. With no polyps and no phytoplankton, coral skeletons that provide homes to fish cannot be made, and there will not be enough primary producers to supply the energy pyramid.